En el nombre de Allah, el benéfico, el misericordioso. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I want to greet our brothers and our sisters here in Chicago, or wherever you may be watching us this morning, in the greeting words of peace, which we say in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. First, let me just start by thanking Almighty God Allah for the blessing and gift of having an 82-year young man as an example to us in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. All praise is due to Allah. I, as you, am anxious to hear from his National Assistant Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad this morning, and I just wanted to give you something from the Holy Quran this morning as we're approaching this great day of 10/10/15, the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. It says in the Holy Quran in the 49th chapter, O mankind, surely we have created you from a male and a female and made you tribes and families that you may know each other. Now, sometimes when we think about tribes and families, we think about those things which makes us different from one another. But here Allah is saying that He's the author of those differences. It's He, in fact, who made us into tribes, into families, not because one is better than another. Not so that we could hate one another. Not so that we could focus on the differences as a basis for our division. No, He made us into tribes and families so that we may know one another. According to the dictionary, to know means to be aware through observation, inquiry, or information. Well, if you're observing a thing, that means you have to be close to it and you have to be around it in order to observe it. If you're going to inquire, that means there has to be some basis or relationship by which we ask questions and receive answers. And the basis of knowledge is information. Well, if Allah made us into tribes and families so that we could know one another, in each tribe, in each family, He's deposited something of value, something from Himself that is of benefit for others. And the only way we gain access is to not be away from one another, but to be with one another. So what we're hearing from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as he has begun his tour is him constantly speaking not only to the black community, which he's been doing for 60 years now, but everywhere he goes, he's saying, we're bringing our Mexican family. Well, you may look and say, well, why are you bringing them? It's a good question, isn't it? What have Mexicans ever done for black people in America? Those are good questions, but there's knowledge and information that we've been deprived of, which makes us ask those questions because we have a long history with one another, a history of helping one another, a history of being in tune with one another and in harmony with one another for the liberation struggle of both of our people. But today in 2015, we have to ask, what have they done for us? And you'll hear Mexican people ask the same question. What have black people ever done for us? Here we are, two people suffering from the same enemy. Two people victimized by the same oppressor, yet looking at one another as the enemy when we don't have a history of doing harm to one another, but we have a common enemy who has victimized both of us, but we don't ask, what has he done for us? What is he doing for us? All praise is due to Allah. I'm so thankful for the love of that black man, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and his black father, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that he would give us children and a teaching. And be unafraid today to stand up. You have to understand the context of this. Every leader that has ever stood up and tried to unite the black and the brown, the enemy has killed him. You didn't hear me? Every leader, locally, nationally, internationally, we can go to their tombstone today because that unity is dangerous to the powers that be. For them to remain, we must be divided. But Allah said that we would be with one another. He didn't ask us, please be with one another, when he came and told us who we are and to accept our own and be ourselves. When we didn't know who we were, we thought we were Negroes and Latinos and these other tribal and national names that we call one another by. He came and told us who we are. We are the original people. And what we're here to hear from Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad this morning is that teaching which brings us back not to a flag, not to the land mass, but to the creator of the heavens and the earth. That's who we are the descendants of. We're not the descendants of a tribe from Mexico, not the Olmecs, not the Toltecs, not the Zulu. We're the descendants of God himself, and we will be in unity because it is the will of God. Please welcome back to the rostrum to take us further into our program, the National Assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Me siento muy orgulloso. Por favor, una vez más para el ministro Abel Mohammed. One more time for Brother Abel Mohammed.